All right, so I'm just going to go over what this output is. This first is a summary of all of the variables. So we've got -2, -3, functional health, -2, -3, chronic conditions, control, optimism, affect, purpose, support, protective factors, that's sum, total physical activity, education, alcohol and drug problems, sex, waist to hip, and then age. And then here is the regression where we're trying to predict uh, -3 functional health, controlling for -2 functional health using that 5 number protective factors. And so here is the output. We can see that every so 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1 are all better than having 0. And if we want to get into the specifics of it, we can compare all of these. So, this would be 5 versus 4, no difference, but 5 versus 3, 5 is better. No difference of 5 versus or 4 versus 3. There is a difference between 5 and 2. So, we can just look at the 95% confidence intervals. I'll send this over to you too, but this is what that looks like graphically. All right. And so I did the same thing with chronic conditions, and this is what that looks like graphically. I'll go to the output though. So 5, I think, was better than 5 and 4 were better than all the other ones, but let me fact check that. Okay. So now this is chronic conditions. So same exact regression minus chronic conditions instead of functional health. So we can see that 4 and 5 are significantly better than 0. And if we wanted to get into more specifics of this, we could say, okay, so 5 is not better than 4, 5 is not better than 3, 4 is not better than 3, 5 is not better than 2. So really, we think that we're just looking at 4 versus 1, that's better. And 5 versus 1, that's better. 3 versus 1 actually also happens to be better, but 2 versus 1 is not. And then for the mediation, which I think the reason that this probably didn't come out as significant is because we did not use physical activity, and specifically the protective factors didn't predict IL-6 in this case. This is without controlling for anything, but it doesn't change when I control for what we had as well, or had earlier. And this is just that output, which I'll also send to you. So still, we had the protective factors did predict functional health at -3. IL-6 predicted it as well. This was still the same case when I did it for time 2, but again, protective factors and did not predict IL-6. Again, probably because we don't have physical activity in there as the protective factor. And that wouldn't really change anything, because if we're swapping this out for chronic conditions, this pathway still wouldn't necessarily work. All right.